Coming up on Mountain News this morning, concerns continue to rise regarding children and guns at home after an incident last week left one child in the hospital. And students from the University of Kentucky were in Hazard reforesting a former mine, a collaboration dedicated to environmental sustainability.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning. I'm Amelia Lee here with you on this Wednesday, May 14th. It's just about 5:30 this beautiful Wednesday morning. And Megan, we've been talking about that fog, also rain chances. I actually did hear the rain, the thunder last night around 4-ish. So I felt included in the weather yesterday.
Yeah, it started a little bit earlier in the day, so that kind of helped out there. And it was thundering and lightning really frequently yesterday. I mean, I was listening to it. I was here last night and it was nonstop. Now, the good news is we're going to lessen that chance as we're heading into your Wednesday. Here's a look at satellite and radar. All is calm throughout our region with the exception of our Virginia counties, just seeing a slight chance this morning. And that's the trend for today, just slight chances, a little bit of a storm chance as you're heading into the afternoon. And overall, temperatures this morning aren't that bad either, sitting in the 50s across, seeing 60s for Harlan and Monticello. This afternoon, those temperatures will warm up to the upper 70s, a little bit cooler in Wise with the high temperature at 71 degrees. Here's what you can expect for the remainder of your day. We'll hit those high temperatures as you're heading into that 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock mark with those slight chances of storms as you're heading into the afternoon and evening hours. Amelia.
A Floyd County man is behind bars after police say he attempted to commit murder. Police responded to a shooting that happened last Saturday on US 23 in the Herald community. A woman told police that Ronald Ramsey shot at her and another man. Ramsey was reportedly behind the two. Police also learned that a teenager was in the back seat. Ramsey was charged with attempted murder. The man accused of setting fire to his home, killing his two sons, went before a judge in person for the first time. Dustin Fields is charged with arson. A fire destroyed his home, killing his two sons in April. Yesterday, the location for that hearing was at the Franklin County Jail due to ongoing work to mitigate flooding damage at the courthouse. No charge was made to Fields' $2 million bond. A grand jury will now consider an indictment on the arson charge against him. A Virginia man will pay thousands of dollars for harvesting a rare root in Cumberland Gap National Historical Park. Cody Brummett was also sentenced to 1 month in jail for harvesting ginseng, also known as green gold. The root sells for a high price, and it's not uncommon for people to make a living selling it. Collecting the root is a federal offense. Investigators said Brummett dug up more than 300 roots from within the park. Police say a minor is in the hospital with life-threatening injuries after a shooting in Lexington last week. This raises concerns about children and guns at home. Maggie Rickerby spoke to a police and a pediatrician about what parents need to know to keep their children safe.
We can prevent having this issue if we know what to do ahead of time.
Police say they responded to the shooting Thursday at 11:30 p.m. on Biloxi Court. They say multiple people were playing around with a firearm, leaving one with life-threatening injuries. Sergeant Guy Miller with Lexington Police says he does not have any updates at this time. He says teaching this message to your kids is the first step to prevention.
Don't touch it. Go tell an adult.
And for gun owners,
if you do have a firearm in your house and you know that little children are going to be over, secure it the best way that you can.
At Commonwealth Pediatrics, Dr. Elizabeth Hawes tells us it's best to start conversations about gun safety with your kids early on.
Some of this stuff is the stuff that you start talking to them about when they're 2, 3, 4, 5. So by the time they're middle school, high school, elementary school, you have an open relationship with them where you can talk about difficult subjects.
Dr. Hawes says not only should parents have conversations with their kids,
normalizing parents asking one another, are there guns, unsecured guns in the home before kids are going to other people's homes.
The bottom line, communication can make a difference. In Lexington, Maggie Rickerby, WKYT.
With technological developments every year in modern warfare, Senator Mitch McConnell is raising concerns about a potential issue on battlefield, the speed these arms are produced. Senator McConnell spoke at the 2025 Global Security Forum in D.C. yesterday. The annual event focuses on innovation. During the forum, Senator McConnell raised concerns about the lack of defense funding to produce these defense at a timely rate. And here's one of his comments from the forum. He says, quote, "If we don't make overdue investments in expanding our production capacity, we may not have the time to manufacture it. So when we talk about innovation, let's talk about innovating our mass and our speed. Let's talk about supply chains. The only capabilities that make a difference on the battlefield are the ones that get there at the speed and scale of relevance." The theme of this year's forum is Strength Through the Storm: Industry, Innovation, and the Future of U.S. Military Power. A group of lawmakers gathered at the state capitol for the ceremonial signing of House Bill 90. The bill is also known as the Mary Carroll Acres Birth Centers Act, or Love Them Both 2025 Act. Governor Andy Beshear vetoed the bill after the legislative session. The measure seeks to ensure Kentucky women and medical professionals get the clarity they need when making critical medical decisions. That includes defining what is and what is not considered an abortion.
House Bill 90 shows that our legislators are just as committed to mothers as they are to preborn children.
Critics of the bill argue the legislation does not go far enough. This was one of the last formal ceremonies in the Capitol Rotunda before renovations begin. Kentucky politics are seeing big changes with new faces entering major races. U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell is not seeking re-election in 2026, opening the field for several candidates. Republicans Daniel Cameron and Andy Barr announced runs for the Senate, while Democrat Pamela Stevenson is also in the race. With Barr leaving his House seat, Democrat Cheylyn Stevenson is running for his spot in Congress. Governor Andy Beshear says he won't run for Senate, but continues to gain national attention as a potential 2028 presidential candidate. A Knott County native announced her bid to run for Congress this week. Cheylyn Stevenson is running for Kentucky's 6th congressional district. That seat became vacant following Representative Andy Barr's decision to run for U.S. Senate last month. Stevenson represented those in Fayette and Scott counties in the General Assembly for the past several years. And here's a part of a statement from Stevenson about her announcement to run for Congress. She says, quote, "We need to rewrite the rules, stand up for working people and families, and fight for Kentucky. That's what I've always done and exactly what I will do in Congress." In central Kentucky, officials in Lawrenceburg say a fire this week was sparked by a lithium ion battery. While the fire was quickly contained, there's still a concern about the hazards associated with lithium ion batteries. Lithium ion batteries are found in everyday items like cell phones and power tools. They've become very popular in recent years thanks to being fast charging and long lasting. However, if something malfunctions with that battery, the result can be explosive.
Whether from overheating or from physical damage or short-circuiting. And what happens is that battery now goes through a thermal runaway event, causing off-gassing, and a very fast amount of toxic gas will be exposed, as well as the heat and a lot of fire.
Experts say you should watch out for overheating as you charge your electronics, including e-bikes and electric scooters. Even avoid charging your phone in your bed or near flammable materials. Students with the University of Kentucky joined forces with other groups in their efforts to reforest land throughout the state. Students were in Hazard reforesting a former mine site. One student says she enjoyed meeting new people and contributing to the reforestation of a former surface mine. The project is part of a 4-year collaboration dedicated to enhancing environmental sustainability. An expansion was introduced to the Camp Nelson National Monument boundary. The expansion includes the forest northern barricade, the strategic Kentucky River bend, and portions of the historic home for colored refugees. U.S. Congressman Andy Barr says the new additions will deepen the visitor experience and further illuminate Camp Nelson's role as a cradle of freedom in a Union slaveholding state. UK is saying their ticket sales for football continue to go down. This after UK sold out its season tickets in the last 2 seasons, which is more than 40,000 tickets in both years. But through May 12th, 2025, Kentucky sold more than 21,000 season ticket packages, which is still 2,500 fewer tickets sold by the renewal deadline in April 2024. Ticket sales are expected to go up through the summer, but it's still shaping up to be their lowest season since the COVID-19 pandemic. A man who was trying to beat a world record has died. Richard Abbott was battling leukemia when his 11 grandchildren came up with the idea to break the world record for receiving the most Christmas cards. We're told Abbott received over 5,000 cards from across the country, including from President Donald Trump and Governor Andy Beshear. The world record, by the way, was 350 million cards. In an interview with WYMT back in November, Abbott says his fight is in God's hands.
I even told the doctors, I said it's in God's hands. He can do whatever he wants.
Richard Abbott was 63 years old. His funeral will be on Saturday at the Pulaski Funeral Home Chapel. It's 5:40. One Grammy Award-winning singer is being recognized for her cultural and global influence over the music industry.
And storms ramp up this weekend. I'll have more details on the timing up next.